Jimmy Rollins has had a powerful year, 23 home runs. Kevin Franzen at third base. Chase Utley is heating up right now. Carlos Ruiz always hurts the fish. Ty Wigginton as well. Darren Ruff, a youngster that the Phillies are real high on. John Mayberry's in center. Michael Martinez, the versatile one, is in right. And Cliff Lee hits ninth.
Well, there's Mark Burley, who we've talked about 5 2/3 innings tonight. He'll reach that 200 innings pitch mark for the 12th consecutive time, and he's pitched pretty well against the Phillies. 2-2 this year, 5-2 in his career.
Pinch Penny brings you the first pitch. Jimmy Rollins takes a strike. Rollins to be followed by Kevin Franzen and Chase Utley. The Phils hanging in the wild card, propelling themselves with a terrific second half. The second best turnaround from the Phils hanging in the wild card, propelling themselves with a terrific second half. The second best turnaround from first half to second half in all of baseball. The best turnaround, the San Diego Padres.
You know, I think you zero in on the fact that they had Utley and Howard in the lineup a little bit more second half of the season. I think you can zero in on Cliff Lee having a better second half as far as wins. He pitched well the first half, just didn't get wins. And you can throw in Kyle Kendrick. He's pitched well,
especially against the Marlins. A cutter from Burley misses in. Yeah, Rollins with 33 doubles, 23 homers, 30 stolen bases. He doesn't give the Phillies that leadoff spark in terms of getting on base. His on base percentage not the best, but I think if you're the Phillies and you've got Rollins at this age, you'll take 23 homers, 33 doubles, and 30 stolen bases, and very good defense.
And the thing that Mark Burley does with some of the runners the Phillies have, Rollins being one, he kind of shuts down that running game.
Roller up the line at third, and Velasquez comes up, picks it up. It's a foul ball.
Because Rollins, with those home runs, also has 30 stolen bases. But pretty much when you see teams who run a little bit, you have Mark Burley on the mound, you don't see too many attempts.
And tonight we've got lefties who both like to work at breakneck speed, Burley and Lee. Rollins taking his time. And a changeup. Rollins swings and misses. So a strikeout for Burley, the first man that he faces tonight.
Let's see how that defense looks. It is brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Brian Peterson, Gorky Hernandez, Giancarlo Stanton. He's missed 9 games. He's in right field tonight. Velasquez, Reyes, Solano, and Lee. And John Buck, who has terrific numbers against Cliff Lee, is behind the plate.
Now Kevin Franzen, and Burley misses low and in. The Phils have liked what they've seen out of Franzen, a guy that couldn't quite crack the Giants starting 9, was a reserve for San Francisco. I think the Phillies, as they look towards next year, like what they see in Franzen and think possibly he could be their 5th infielder.
He's one of those guys, Rich, that might not be a starting player, but he's certainly a nice piece as an extra infielder on a 25-man roster.
You can move them all over the infield. Burley buries that one down low, and it's 3-1. Franzen out of San Jose. Against lefties, he's hitting .434. And he nearly got that one by Carlos Lee. Good reflexes down there by El Caballo.
El Caballo, El Rapido. Got a quick jump playing off the line. Franzen tried to sneak it past him, and Carlos Lee right there.
One of the things that Philly fans really have to like about the second half is that this guy is back. Back to being Chase Utley. His last 18 games, .361 average, 4 doubles, driven in 12, 13 walks, an on-base percentage of just under .500.
He's one of those guys, Rich, over the years, over his career, and as his career extends, you'll probably see Chipper Jones type numbers against the Marlins for Chase Utley.
I guess one of the questions is, will you see him at third base next year?
Maybe that's why I used the Chipper Jones analogy.
Because he's been taking a lot of ground balls at third, and as the Phils try to figure out what they're going to do with their infield, whether they can find a third baseman or a second baseman, Utley might be over at third, maybe to save some wear and tear. And then Ruben Amaro Jr. would go after someone to play second, with obviously Rollins and Howard in what has the makings of still a very good infield.
If they decide not to retain Placido Polanco, who could play second. Kevin Franson plays second base too.
There will be a few guys applying for that job. Here's the 3-1. Burley right down the middle. Now Burley against the Phils has been an interesting case study. He faced them in Philly twice, lost both those games, and he has beaten them his last 2 starts here at Marlins Park. And he strikes out Utley. Not a bad inning for Mark Burley. 1-2-3.
The Toyota
in Miami, Marlins and Phillies. Here come the Marlins. The fish going against Cliff Lee with Gorkys Hernandez in center, Brian Peterson in left, Jose Reyes at short, and it's great to see Giancarlo Stanton back in the cleanup spot. Carlos Lee's at first, Donovan Solano at second. John Buck has very good numbers against Cliff Lee. He's in the 7th spot. Gil Velasquez hits 8th, and Burley hits 9th. The Marlins saw Chris Medlin in Atlanta. He's been the dominant pitcher in the second half. Cliff Lee's not far behind him.
I tell you what, the month of September for Cliff Lee, 3-1 record and an 0.99 ERA. All of a sudden he's getting a little support. He's won some games, and that was the problem for him early.
Gorkys Hernandez, then Peterson, then Reyes. And Lee misses away. He doesn't miss often. Start number 29 for the 34-year-old lefty. You see his second half numbers. Mr. No Decision this year.
The most amazing thing about Cliff Lee this year, he didn't get his first win until July 4th. He was in a lot of games. He pitched well. No decisions. Lost some low scoring games.
50% of his starts are no decisions this year, and that is second in all of Major League Baseball. Coconut Creek's Matt Latos has 15 no decisions to Lee's 14. 2-2 to Gorkys Hernandez. Little flare. Utley going out, and a dive. Mayberry can't hold it. It bounced off of something. And let's take a look.
We've seen Mayberry make some pretty good plays. It looked like he got there and was there in time. The outstretched glove was outstretched a little bit too far, and it got him up on the hand. Looked like a changeup from Lee. There's the outstretched arm, and the ball got him on the wrist.
And then off the shoulder Hernandez, with his great speed, is at first. And the Marlins have their leadoff man aboard. And here's Brian Peterson. And Lee misses down low. Peterson has 4 at-bats in his career against Cliff Lee, is 1 for 4 with a double. There are some guys in this Marlins lineup that have had success against Lee. And some of that success has been in a different uniform. Carlos Lee, John Buck as 2 examples.
But I tell you what, in a game like this, where you know you have 2 quality left-handers, you've got to do all the little things. You have guys who throw strikes, too. So you have to do all the little things, hit and runs, move guys over to try to get on the board first, score 1, score 2 runs.
That one fouled out of play. And the count is 1-2. Ozzie Kian looking across at Charlie Manuel, who is answering him. A little sign language going on between the managers.
Yeah, Charlie is answering, too.
A liner. Wigginton has it. Hernandez is doubled off. And just like that, Cliff Lee's got a double play.
Not a whole lot for Gorkys Hernandez to do. He has his lead, takes 1 step, and even if he doesn't take any steps, it's a double play on that line drive.
Now Reyes. And Reyes swings and misses. It's amazing to me with Lee's history, and I know he's pitched in a variety of places, from Cleveland to Seattle with the Phils. Reyes has just 10 at-bats against him. He's 3 for 10. And the count's 1-1.
I'll tell you the one number that Jose Reyes is most proud of this year. This is start number 155 for him.
Martinez calling for it, and Michael Martinez runs it down. Cliff Lee is through with the first. We're on to the second. In Miami, and it's brought to you by H.H. Gregg. Getting a little darker sooner here at Marlins Park. You look out through the rolling windows, and you can see the city lit up. Carlos Ruiz is up. Normally in the early part of the summer and through the summer, around this time of night, you can still look out there and night still falling. Coventry Healthcare second inning. Burley gets Carlos Ruiz, Ty Wigginton, and Darren Ruff. Ruiz fouls it back. Phillies missed Carlos Ruiz while he was gone. Ruiz, one of the big offensive bats for the Phillies without Utley and Howard in the first half. And if the Phillies were able to get somebody on base for Carlos Ruiz, usually he's been able to drive him in this year. He's been one of the best in the big leagues with runners in scoring position. Burley with the count 2-2.
Chooch having a conversation with his countryman Carlos Lee prior to the game.
Those two were teammates on Panama's World Baseball Classic team in 2009. Ruiz reaches out, pokes that to right. Giancarlo Stanton out there makes the catch. Good to see him back out in right field. Phillies and Marlins tomorrow night, a Saturday spectacular at 7:10. Arrive early for a player autograph session and a party on the West Plaza with music, entertainment, and more. After the game, enjoy a fireworks spectacular and concert on the plaza. Go to marlins.com for tickets. Wigginton can just flat hit, and he has always hit the Marlins well. Though at batting practice he was lamenting the old ballpark, or the old football stadium. Wigginton was about a .333 career hitter in that park, and he hits Burley well in his career as well.
10 for 31 now against Mark Burley. He just fought that pitch off, and along with those 10 hits, 3 home runs against Burley. So you knew Wigginton would be in the lineup somewhere. I think we had him as an extra man, didn't we, on that all Marlins killer team?
Utility guy.
Utility guy.
Here is Darren Ruff now. And Ruff lit the minor leagues on fire, leading the minor leagues with 38 home runs. Certainly one of the Phillies' top prospects. And his first hit as a Philly was a home run against Ross Detweiler on the 25th.
I think the impressive thing when you look at Ruff's numbers in the minor leagues in Double-A, his on base percentage also was over 400.
Creighton University. He was born in Omaha, and of course Creighton is in Omaha. 20th round pick in 2009. Smacks one into left field, and that's a base hit. Peterson will pick it up. Wigginton will stop at second. Ruff is now 6 for 14 as a big leaguer. And here comes Mayberry.
He's one of those guys, the Phillies, general manager Ruben Morrow Jr., they're going to have to make a decision as to what they want to do with this power hitting right-handed hitter who's primarily a first baseman, but playing left field tonight.
Well, left field in this ballpark very different, obviously, than in Philly. That's the one thing the Phillies have that might help Ruff make that transition from first to left. Mayberry swings and misses. And it's 0-1. Remember how Raul Ibanez's range and overall defense got better when he went from spacious Safeco Field in Seattle to Philly. That certainly could help Ruff as well. They throw behind the youngster, and he's back in just in time.
That's a pretty good play. It's a predetermined play. The first baseman and the catcher get on the same page because Carlos Lee has to dance behind the runner. He got there. It was a close play. That's a good try.
Burley misses in, and he is 2-1 on John Mayberry Jr. A lot of playing time for A lot of outfielders for the Phils after the trade of both Shane Victorino and Hunter Pence to National League West rivals. Pence going to San Francisco, Victorino to Los Angeles, and Pence is back in the postseason.
Now they have a left-handed hitting outfield on the bench. Dominic Brown, Juan Pierre, Nate Scherholz.
2-2. That's strike 3 called. Burley has 3 strikeouts. And here comes Michael Martinez.
Burley gets hitters thinking about that changeup, and all of a sudden an 86-mile-an-hour fastball splits the plate. Perfect pitch and freezes John Mayberry.
Most of the drama that's left in Major League Baseball is over in the American League. Division races, wild card races. Martinez fouls it at the plate. The Phillies were in that wild card conversation just a week ago. As St. Louis was sputtering, the Phils were hot. But the Cardinals have won 8 of their last 10, and their lead over the Dodgers is 3 for that second wild card spot. Milwaukee 4 back. The Phillies are actually 6 back at 78-78, tied with Arizona. Off the end of the bat, Burley can't get it. Solano hustles, and he'll throw behind the runner at third and get it!
Heads-up play. Heads-up play by Donovan Solano.
Wigginton, too big a turn. Solano knew that Martinez could run, so he went after the runner at third, and he got him. Nicely done. A scoreless game here in Miami. To play. Speaking of defense, here's the Phillies defense.
Yeah, brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Ruff, Martinez, and Mayberry in the outfield. Franson, Rollins, Utley, and Wigginton. And Carlos Ruiz shoots behind the plate. The play that Solano made is a play that as he's coming in to get that slow ground ball, he's actually thinking about it at the time.
Giancarlo Stanton returns. There's Solano. He's due up third in this inning with Carlos Lee right between them. Against Cliff Lee, Marlins got a hit in that first. Lee then got a line drive double play that helped him to a very brief first inning. Lee has thrown only 15 pitches. Only 3 of them have not found the strike zone. And he's 0-2 on Stanton. who doesn't go after the breaking ball. It was that matrix type slide at home plate for Stanton that irritated the intercostal. 1-2. You asked for it, and here it is. This was against the Reds.
Sacrifice fly. And just getting around the tag. It was a great slide. But that's when he injured that oblique.
And he didn't come right out. Wow, that's a laser beam down the left field line and into the corner. He hasn't missed a beat.
That's why you have to keep Giancarlo on the field. Keep him healthy. He means so much to this lineup.
Stanton ripping that one to the corner. That's double number 30 for Stanton to go with 34 home runs.
Yeah, you're right about a laser. Right now, Cliff Lee is just happy that Giancarlo didn't elevate that ball.
You know, Stanton doesn't have a whole lot of at-bats against Cliff Lee. But now he is 6 for 14. That his first extra base hit against the former Cy Young Award winner. And now you've got a guy that has hit Lee very well, and that's Carlos Lee. 27 at bats, 11 hits, 3 homers. That's a 407 clip. Marlins have their leadoff man at second. And Lee takes a strike.
Carlos going with the compression sleeve. He's done that a few games. Yeah, good sample size. Pretty good sample size against Cliff Lee.
Oh, 1. Flips up a breaking ball, and it just missed. Lee out of Benton, Arkansas, University of Arkansas, Expo draft pick.
Actually, when the Expos had the Jupiter team as their A-ball club, Cliff Lee pitched in Jupiter up in Jupiter in 2001. Had 20 starts for that ball club.
And of course, he was part of that that trade that brought just a boatload of talent from Montreal to Cleveland for Bartolo Colon, Lee, Brandon Phillips, Grady Sizemore. Lee would have some brilliant years in Cleveland. He had a year where he struggled and went down to the minor leagues in Cleveland. Won the Cy Young in 2008. 3-1 pitch and a grounder. Franzen's throw across the diamond, and Stanton a heads-up move to take third. And so the Marlins do get him over, and it's a nice instinctive play by Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah, what you do as a runner and as an infielder, there's not a whole lot of defense here because you want to get an out early in the game. You go ahead and take the out. But as the runner, Stanton watches Franzen. Franzen took a peek at it, but as soon as he unloaded the throw, Stanton with a great jump. Watch how he comes off the bag, stays right there, takes a peek, then takes off, and there's no chance for Wigginton at all to get him at third. So good play by Giancarlo.
Breaking ball into strike to Donovan Solano. So the Marlins got him over. Now we'll see if Solano can get him in.
Yeah, the middle infielders are back. The corner guys are even with the bag.
Solano takes in a 7-game hit streak, 11 for 23 on the road trip. And look at this. This is Dobbs-like. You know, those numbers, that stat may not do you any good in arbitration, but when it comes to a manager who is looking for guys to put out on the diamond and put on a 25-man roster.
You know, that play he made, getting Wigginton at third, you're not going to see that show up in arbitration either. But it shows up to that guy.
Solano a rip and fouls it back.
Haven't had a chance to scout the 34-year-old veteran. Brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. Talked about the Cy Young Award in 08. A lot of strikes. That's what he does. Will he be with the Phillies next year?
Check swing. Did he go? Yes. Tim Timmons said he went. That's a big strikeout for Lee. Now it's up to John Buck. And Stanton is still at third base. Here's
like
a look.
He climbed the ladder with a fastball. And yeah, he committed to it. But you wonder in what direction the Phillies are going to go. One direction could have them trading a guy like Cliff Lee if they think Roy Halladay is going to come back next year and be healthy all year. A lot of people thought Lee would be traded at the deadline this year.
If he comes back, Charlie Manuel again will have a elite rotation with Hamels locked up long term, Halladay, and Lee. I think the key for the Phillies is make sure their offense is healthy and productive early in the season so they don't get buried like they did this year. But the rotation led all major league staffs in innings, strikeouts, fewest walks issued. Buck swings and misses, and his bat nearly gets Velasquez.
I tell you what, Gil Velasquez didn't panic.
No, Velasquez.
He just kind of casually moved a little bit, but showed no panic at all.
You'd think you're safe back there with a right-handed hitter because it's almost physically impossible to foul a pitch back there. Two-one pitch into the air to center field. Martinez goes back and squares himself and makes the catch at the warning track. And the Marlins leave Stanton at third base. Still scoreless.
Sentado en SAP por Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
Well, you would expect with Mark Burley and Cliff Lee going, you'd have a tight game. And it's a scoreless game, though both teams have had opportunities against the other.
The other thing you would expect when you have two guys working quickly the way Burley and Lee are is good defense, and we've seen good defense as well.
Lee leads it off, and then top of the order, Jimmy Rollins and Kevin Franzen. Carlos Lee down to get it, and Cliff Lee is out number one. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
Rich, we have others in the booth that could have read that for you tonight.
That's right. The winners of the what was it, the Fox Sports Suite Experience? Is that the package? Oh, the reverse road trip is here tonight.
Ah, okay.
Ah.
Okay. See, we learn something all the time.
That's right. So they've been at the Clevelander, I expect. Ah. That's why they look like they haven't had any sleep.
That's why you and I don't go out there.
That's right. Jimmy Rollins struck out in the first. Burley working quickly, and Rollins fouls an off-speed pitch back, and it's 2-2. That's quite a play. Watch this. With the food.
Got all the food, didn't drop or spill anything.
And he bobbled and still held it. And Burley strikes out Rollins. We need to see that catch again.
And we could also see that pitch again. Both were great. First with the catch.
He's got the tray of food.
Look at it. Didn't drop anything. Didn't spill anything.
The kids are with him.
Kids are going, "Attaboy, Dad." And in the meantime, Burley made a perfect pitch to Jimmy Rollins to strike him out.
Kevin Franzen now.
Guy saying, "Yeah, I do that all the time. That's why I have the backpack. I put the balls in there that I catch." No biggie.
Yeah, it happens. His UZR last year was incredible. Franzen up the line at first, and Reyes throws him out. Burley goes 1-2-3 in the third. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. We got Philly fans here. I saw a Fanatic hat, and I saw a Clifford the Big Red Dog outfit with a Cliff Lee shirt on. I'm not sure if that fan is still in the costume, but there he is. Clifford Lee, the Big Red Dog.
I'm not sure they'd let him into the Clevelander.
Gil Velasquez is up first. Velasquez, Mark Burley, and Gorkys Hernandez. Bottom three, Lee and Burley, in a scoreless ball game. The Phillies coming in at an even 500. Marlins trying to snap a 7-game losing streak. Velasquez to right. Mayberry is there. And he makes the catch. It's a 3-game weekend series. And tomorrow night, the pitching matchups for this series are outstanding. Roy Halladay against Ricky Nolasco. 7 o'clock start tomorrow on Fox Sports Florida. And then Cole Hamels for the Phillies on Sunday against hard-throwing right-hander Nathan Eovaldi.
Roy Halladay coming off a loss to Atlanta, gave up 5 hits and 7 runs in just an inning and 2/3.
I would venture to say it's a tougher at bat for Burley against Lee than for Lee against Burley.
Would totally agree with that.
Lee would.
I'll tell you what, talking to Burley though the other day, he was happy. I'm not sure if it was his last start or the start before that. He dropped down a couple of nice sacrifice bunts, and that's something that he's been working on. He has just 4 all year, but he had 2 in 1 game, and he was happy that he was able to get down a couple of nice bunts.
You're looking at a guy that spent his entire life in the American League, facing one of the premier pitchers in the game in Lee, who just splits the plate with a 93-mile-an-hour fastball and strikes him out. We told you that the tight races are in the American League. Tico, the People's Gas, Tommy, brings you the American League East. The Rays are in shooting distance, but the Orioles are right there. The Yankees and Orioles are both in action, and both are on top right now. Baltimore 6-1 over Boston. That's only in the 3rd, and it's in Baltimore. And the Yankees are on the road in Toronto and have a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the 2nd. The Rays and the White Sox play a little bit later tonight. Gorkys Hernandez had a sinking line drive that got in for a hit in right field back in the 1st.
How about the Orioles getting home runs from all kinds of different sources? You get a grand slam from Ryan Flaherty in that game tonight. Chris Davis has also homered. So they've been on a home run tear.
Manny Machado is in the ball game, and he's 1 for 1. He's had a real impact on the race, the 20-year-old from Miami.
Tampa, of course, an 8-game winning streak, so they're just not going to let go. They're not going to make it easy.
Now they won a tight one, a 3-2 ball game that came down to the very end last night against the White Sox.
And Detroit, because of those 2 White Sox losses, all of a sudden has opened up a 2-game lead.
Big breaking ball, and Lee doesn't get it. It counts 2-2. Baltimore, the first wild card spot. Oakland, the 2nd. With the Angels and the Rays 2 back in the American League wild card.
The difference in these 2 pitchers, you saw that last pitch, 85. That's Lee's changeup. A lot of times we see Mark Burley 85, 86, and that's his fastball.
The 2-2. And a swing and a miss. Lee gets a couple of strikeouts here in the 3rd. He has struck out 3 so far, and so far still scoreless. is coming to Miami next March. Marlins Park will host second round of the world's premier international baseball tournament. See many of the game's greatest stars as they compete for their home countries. For more information, go to worldbaseballclassic.com right now. Cleveland Clinic third. Actually, Cleveland Clinic fourth. Crack staff leading me astray.
That's how quickly these two guys work.
That's right. Mark Burley working on Chase Utley with Carlos Ruiz and Ty Wigginton around the bend. Burley 4 strikeouts. One of those was Utley in the first. Yeah, the National League is pretty much put to bed in terms of the division winners. What's at stake now is best record and who will play whom in that first round after the wild card game. The Braves are 4 back. They have won 5 in a row, so that's, you know, with 6 games left, it's doable, but it's going to be tough. The Braves and the Mets are scoreless in the second.
That's a big night in Atlanta, honoring Chipper Jones tonight.
That's 50,000 people.
Yeah.
Utley swings and fouls it at the plate.
It's funny watching if you're at the ballpark or if we stay on Chase Utley. After every pitch, there it is. He'll step out. He'll kind of smooth the batter's box. Then he'll step out, take that practice swing, and then get in. And he does it after a foul ball. He does it after he takes a pitch.
Struck him out.
Not going to do it now, though.
No. Utley has struck out twice against Burley. We check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Rich, thank you very much. John Buck here catching for the Marlins tonight. And I asked him here as the season winds down at home from a catching perspective, how neat is it defensively to be catching in this place instead of the other one?
I didn't have to work so hard to keep weight on my body. It was a little more normal. You know, I wasn't having to choke down protein shakes and guzzle Pedialyte every night or in between innings. So it was, as far as that regard, it was a lot less taxing on the body. I feel a lot more healthy this year, but air conditioning is a wonderful thing.
And especially jarring action there for John Buck last year, coming to South Florida and, you know, hearing about the heat, but not actually used to it until you get playing every day in the heat. So he really is welcomed playing here in Marlins Park. Obviously, offensively, not the kind of year he wanted. He's the first to tell you about that, but much better since August. Guys?
And we welcome working here. I mean, it really is a different atmosphere and a different feeling at this time of year, having gone through 6 months of the schedule.
Mark Burley has welcomed pitching here too. Burley at home 8-5 with a nice 3.29 ERA.
He's got one of those guys at the plate though that seem to hit him, and there's guys like that on every team. A Burley killer type guy, and it's not necessarily the big name guy. Yes, that one fouled back.
Well, Wigginton had a base hit his first time up, so he's now 10 for 31 against Burley.
We've run into some of those guys this year. The Melky Cabreras, the Willie Bloomquist. That's a swing and a miss, and that's a strike 3. Wigginton is left standing, not at the altar, but at home plate, and he's not real happy about it. Onward, upward. Still scoreless. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Nissan. Get to Nissan for the biggest savings under the sun at Nissan Summer Saving Days. Visit ChooseNissan.com. By Sagicor. Plan a bright financial future today at SagicorLifeUSA.com. And by Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. A scoreless game, but a fun game to watch because Burley has been on, Cliff Lee has been on. Both teams have had opportunities, and both pitchers got themselves out of trouble. Marlins had the leadoff double in the second by Giancarlo Stanton. He got to third with one out, but Lee struck out Solano and got Buck to fly out to deep center. Gorkys Hernandez a leadoff hit in the first, but Brian Peterson, the man at the plate right now, lined to first into a double play.
Cliff Lee now has gone over 200 innings.
Peterson drives it right center field. Martinez reaching up, makes the catch. Martinez, an infielder by trade. Not the smoothest out there, but he's so athletic he can cover gap to gap.
Yeah, he's got a little Bonifacio in him. The fact that he can be very versatile, and that's what they'd like him to do. It's only his second start in center field this year.
That is not our trivia question tonight. AT&T brings you this. Lefties, who's the all-time wins leader against the Marlins? Tom Glavine would be a guy you could think about.
Seems like Al Leiter's name pops up, even though he was a Marlin, but
we just rode in the elevator with Tom Glavine.
That's right. Talking about the Braves.
Reyes, he flied to left his first time up. Knocks that one to left as well. And Darren Ruff is there, and he makes the catch. Why wait, Tommy? Why draw it out?
Well, let's look at it this way. Both pitchers are working quickly, so we have to work quickly with trivia.
Yeah, why use the buzzers and the bells?
Yeah.
Let's just get right to it. All-time wins leader versus the Marlins. Glavine.
How could we not have guessed Jamie Moyer?
Oh, wow.
How could we not even have thrown his name out there? Look at that, though. Glavine with 17 wins, but 19 losses.
And one of the biggest losses was that loss as a Met trying to clinch the division. Giancarlo, deep left field. Get out of here. Way out of here.
Budweiser balcony, here I come.
And the Marlins have the lead. Welcome back, big man. A double and a homer.
Stanton playing in only his 118th game, and all of those haven't been starts. And that for Giancarlo, home run number 35.
Wow. You talk about coming off, he wasn't on the disabled list, but he certainly was on the shelf. And your first start back is Cliff Lee. You hit a bullet of a double and then do this. Excuse me, ladies, while I drop in on the Budweiser balcony up there.
Yeah, watch your drinks. Stanton has started just 112 games this year. And he's second in the league with 35 home runs. Absolutely impressive.
0-2 pitch. That is strike three called. Carlos Lee goes down 1-0. Stanton with a home run. Back for more after this sports injury prevention message from Cleveland Clinic, Florida. to Giancarlo Stanton's 35th.
Watch this. See this area right here? Ladies, look out. Here comes number 35. Last home run for Stanton was on September 11th in Philadelphia.
Solano to first. Watch the reaction of one of the ladies that gets out of the way, but Tommy, she stays on the play. She knocks it down, makes a play,
and gets it. She'll be getting phone calls. Great play. She has a baseball. She'll be getting texts.
It's got the ball. They're looking at the people, the Clevelander, and they're taunting them right now.
Yeah.
They're saying Giancarlo Stanton is so strong that he doesn't hit it in the Clevelander. He hits it to us.
You know what his teammates are telling him right now, Stanton? They're saying, Big G, it ain't that easy to sit out 9 games and then come back and hit 2 balls the way you've hit tonight.
John Mayberry now. You saw Darren Ruff bounce out. Michael Martinez will follow. Burley pouring across strikes. Mayberry thought that was low. And it counts 2-1. Burley out of St. Charles, Missouri.
Remember, 5 2/3 tonight for Mark Burley will get him at 200 innings.
We're talking about left-handed pitchers. Burley is the 5th left-handed pitcher to have 30-plus starts in 12 or more years. In consecutive years, Warren Spahn the leader at 17. Mickey Lolich, Steve Carlton at 13. Burley and the aforementioned Tom Glavine with a dozen.
I'll tell you, Warren Spahn was doing it in his 40s.
And of course, Burley has 12 consecutive years of 10 or more wins. He's at 13-13. There you go. The 30-plus, the Iron Mikes, so to speak. And a tapper out towards Solano, who fires to first in time. Burley is about, what, an inning and a third away from getting to 200 now on the season. Fox Saturday Baseball coming down to the last weekend. Rays and White Sox. That's a great one. How about the Tigers and the Twins? Will Miggy win that triple crown? Angels and Rangers as well. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by MasterCard begins at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central. High chopper. Reyes lines it up and unloads in time. Burley goes 1, 2, 3. He has retired 9 straight. card. Atlanta has clinched. The Cardinals need some wins with 6 games left. The Dodgers 3 back. Milwaukee 4 back. In Miami tonight, the Phillies and the Marlins. Giancarlo Stanton with a solo homer, his 35th of the season. That's the only run on the board. Both lefties have looked superb, Cliff Lee and Mark Burley. Donovan Solano leads it off. John Buck and Gil Velasquez.
It is one of the areas that has given Lee trouble, and it usually does because he throws so many strikes. He's allowed 24 home runs this year. It's also been an area lately for Mark Burley that has troubled him. He's given up some long balls that have hurt him.
Solano went down swinging his first time up. He couldn't check his swing on a high fastball, and he's behind in the count 0-2.
The early reports, Rich, on the Stanton home run, 419 feet. That's about right because it was a little left of the 427 sign. So I'll buy that one.
Well, as we've learned, though, with Hit Tracker Online, the true distance, because of the height of the home run, will probably get you up in the 440 area. 1-2. Solano fouls it back. Stan, a double and a homer. So 30 doubles, 35 homers. One-two.
He's going to do all that, and he's going to end up missing about 40 games.
And so it's one thing to look at the season and say, what if? We saw the home run leaders, and certainly Ryan Braun catchable if he plays in 30 of those 40 games. And then you look forward to next season and seasons beyond that. As you pointed out, that's the importance of keeping him healthy. A swing and a miss. Closing day is Wednesday the 3rd. The Marlins will wrap up their inaugural season at Marlins Park against the Mets. First pitch at 4:10. And all fans get a Marlins 2013 magnetic schedule courtesy of Net 10 Wireless. Stay after the game for a closing day party on the plaza. Go to marlins.com for tickets.
I think I know where you're going with that. That, yeah, you'd probably take 35 home runs from Stanton every year. Where you lose, though, with him not being out there, you lose in all the other hitters hitting around him, and you lose in the RBI department. Stanton with 82 RBIs.
And I think the hope is that now that his knee has repaired, the loose bodies are gone. That knee was troublesome this spring training and last spring training. So the hope is that he has a healthy spring training with 40, 50 at bats and is ready to rock and roll at the start of April. And Buck fouls it off. Counts 0-2. Now, one of the best things about Craig Minervini's job is that he gets to go places and see things that we don't. He's out at the Budweiser balcony. Craig?
Rich, thank you. Yes, here's the baseball, and Molly here from Miami. Well, it's your ball, so you tell me what happened. You look like you were a little scared there. Were you watching the game first of all?
I wasn't watching the game. No, I was not watching the game. And I thought, yeah, I saw it coming at me, and it hit me.
You saw it hit you.
It hit me.
Where did it catch you?
On my knee or something.
So you kind of backed up. You were panicking. People were yelling.
Yeah, everyone was yelling.
And then did it hit the?
And it came.
Did it hit you on the fly on the knee?
No, I think it bounced off the wall, and then yeah, it hit me.
And then, but the good news is a lot of times you pay the price and you don't get the baseball. Somebody else, but you were able to track it down. Were you a baseball
I got
player?
That baseball. No, I wasn't. Girls don't play baseball.
Well, you play softball.
No, I never played softball. I was a soccer player. Caught it with my knee.
Caught it with your knee. Yeah, that's right. And Jesse, what happened to you? Your friend, you didn't help her out?
The best I could do was pull away from it and let her take the rap. I sat there like this in shock.
Now, I'm just guessing you come up here, have a couple of drinks, enjoy the game. Obviously not paying attention to the game, as you said. You're not expecting a baseball to come way up here. Is that right?
No way. Definitely not.
Well, do you know who hit the ball?
Is that bad?
Do you know who hit the ball? Who hit the ball?
No, the Marlins.
Rich, the Marlins hit the ball.
That's all right, babe. That's all right. You know
His
what?
His name is Stanton.
Stanton.
Hey, Craig, tell them that was a career high.
Oh.
Number 35 for Giancarlo. Remember, he hit 34 last year.
Look to that camera and say that's a career high.
That's a career high.
Number 35.
We may never get Craig back again. We may never see Craig
We'll do the
again.
post game right from here, guys.
That's a good idea.
Who hit that one again?
Stanton.
Okay, it was Stanton. All right.
All right.
Back to you.
Thank you, Craig. Gil Velasquez at the plate. Cliff Lee working quickly. Has a couple outs already in the bottom of the fifth. And Velasquez takes down low. The count's 2-1.
Last game for Cliff Lee, pitched really well against the Braves. Gave up a home run to a good player, David Ross.
David Ross and the Braves are scoreless with the Mets in the top of the third in Atlanta. Velasquez a soft roller. Utley gets around it. Flip on the run. And a 1-2-3 inning for Lee, who's retired 4 straight after that Stanton home run. It's 1-0. Jimmy Rollins giving the Phillies their only run of the night. A 2-out single to left off of Mark Burley in the top of the 8th. Bottom of the 8th, it's 1-1. Major League Baseball's postseason is right around the bend. You can catch all the action on Fox and TBS. And it all starts on October 5th with the wild card games on TBS.
It's a big guy who all of a sudden is starting to fit into the Phillies' plans for next season. Opponent sitting just 196 off Philippe Almont. Kind of a herky-jerky, heavy 90s. You talk about a heavy sinking fastball. That's what this guy has. He's not a small guy, 6'7".
You wonder if those terms were used back in the 20s and 30s when guys were topping out in the high 70s. He's got a heavy sink at 73. Donovan Solano against Almont. And a fastball up and in. Solano has struck out twice, but remember, he was facing Cliff Lee, and both Lee and Burley were dominant tonight.
Now, the one thing about Almont, he can get a little wild. He can struggle with his command because of that delivery.
And a strike, and it's 1-1. Cliff Lee went 7 innings, 3 hits, a run, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Burley 8 innings, 6 hits, a run, no walks, 8 strikeouts for Burley. Steve Cishek in the Marlins pen. 28,201 the attendance tonight on a Friday night here in Miami. Solano, a chopper toward short. Rollins charges, throws on the run, and pulled him off the bag. Solano is safe.
That is a good start. Good hustle by Donovan Solano. He forced, I think, Rollins to make that poor throw. Good attempt by Jimmy Rollins. But with Solano going up the line quickly, Rollins' throw pulls Wigginton off the bag. So that's the way you want to start an inning in a tie game, especially in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Another look at it. And it is an infield hit. So Solano's aboard. Here's Buck. And a throw over to first. Solano's back. Carlos Ruiz is on his way out to talk to Amont.
So Solano, Rich, with that base hit, now extends his hitting streak 8 consecutive games.
Yeah, he's 12 for his last 26. Buck sets down a gorgeous bunt. Almont throws the first and gets the out. John Buck looked like he'd been doing that all his life.
That was a beauty.
Tomorrow, Roy Halladay, Ricky Nolasco at 60 paces. Halladay at 10 and 8, Nolasco at 12 and 12. There are some questions as to Halladay, arm strength, health. But Halladay's going to take the ball and make the start tomorrow.
Rich, John Buck's last sacrifice bunt was September 4th, 2010.
Gil Velasquez has flied out and bounced to second. Pulls a ground ball in the hole at short. Rollins loads up, fires to first, and just gets it. Solano had to hold at second.
This time Jimmy Rollins makes a nice throw on a play a little bit into the hole on the left side. Did a good play by Jimmy Rollins.
With Greg Dobbs coming up to pinch hit, Charlie Manuel's just going to walk Dobbs. And that'll put Gorkys Hernandez center stage.
Well, the choice Charlie Manuel had, he had a left-hander in the bullpen. But he would rather keep Almont in the game to pitch to Hernandez, so he just decides to put the former Philly on.
In a 1-1 game in the bottom of the 8th. Now it's up to Gorkys Hernandez. Dobbs is walked. There's the lefty that you talked about, Antonio Bastardo, in the bullpen. And Gorkys Hernandez has been called back to the dugout. Scott Cousins has emerged.
Now see what Charlie does. He can stay with the big right-hander, or he can go to Bastardo in the bullpen.
Cousins stands in. Charlie's not budging. Cousins had a base hit in last night's ball game in Atlanta. He was 1 for 3 with a walk. We got Dobbs at first, Solano at second. Philip Almont against Scott Cousins. And a fastball misses away. And a swing and a miss.
Pretty good speed at second base, and Donovan Solano. Tailing fastball from Almont. Gets it down a little bit. It'll be right in Scott Cousins' zone. He likes that fastball down.
That's out. After Cousins, you got another left-handed hitter in Peterson. You see the pattern on the Warren Henry Fox tracks. The pitch that he swung at was the best of the bunch. That one's out, and now it's 3-1.
You know, if he stays that way, and if Cousins has the kind of swing he had last night, remember his base hit in Atlanta last night was a line drive into left field.
Lined that one foul. And
good approach, though.
As the pitch came to the plate,
interesting.
Jimmy Rollins had dashed behind Solano and was waiting at second base.
If somehow Cousins had rolled a ground ball out towards short, it would have been a base hit. Because Rollins had gone over to cover. The rule of thumb is if you're the pitcher, even if you're not going to throw to second, you're supposed to step off. And Almont didn't step off. He delivered to the plate. Here goes Rollins, and here comes the delivery.
Now, every one of his pitches, you just saw the Fox tracks, every one of his pitches has been out or right on the outer half. Runners on the move, the 3-2, and he struck him out. Cousins goes after a fastball at 96 miles an hour. To the ninth we go. 1-1.
Pretty short one, not a lot of scoring, but this one was a mammoth home run. Number 35, a career high for Giancarlo into the Budweiser balcony. With the Marlins up 1-0, it looked like that might hold up. But John Mayberry starts things for the Phillies with a double. Burley almost got out of things, but with 2 out, Jimmy Rollins pokes a single into left field, tied the game at 1. That's how we are as Steve Cishek gets ready to pitch the top of the 9th inning.
Greg Dobbs, as Ozzie Guillen will try to keep Dobbs' bat in there. Dobbs ends up in left field. Brian Peterson ends up in center field. Steve Cishek on the mound, pitching here in the top of the 9th. He comes in right in the teeth of the order with Utley, Ruiz, and then Wigginton. As Tommy has pointed out, the Phils have plenty of left-handed pop on the bench, including a gentleman named Ryan Howard.
Frustrating thing for Ozzie Guillen the other night when he went with Dunn against the Braves left-handers because Cishek had struggled against lefties. That backfired on that walk-off home run off the bat of Freddie Freeman.
And of course, it was the Braves lefties, another one, Brian McCann, that got to Dunn before the Marlins left on that road trip in a ball game here at Marlins Park. Cishek has missed on his first 2, and he's 2-0. The Cardinals are beating the Nationals 6-1. And you know what? The Braves certainly are watching that score. They lead the Mets 1-0. That's in the bottom of the 6th inning. To center, Peterson rushes in and makes the catch. Brian, a solid defensive outfielder. You saw him look that one right into his glove. The ball that he dropped the other night in Atlanta, way out of character for him.
It's out of character. Normally, as you said, very solid in left field, center field, and right field.
Marlins Live, presented by Checkers, is coming up. Here's Carlos Ruiz. After the ball game, recap of a splendid night for Mark Burley, a record-setting night in a sense that he's over the 200-inning threshold for the 12th consecutive year. And Cliff Lee was dynamite tonight as well. That's why it's 1-1 in the 9th. Speaking of Atlanta and Freddie Freeman, he's homered his 23rd. And that's how the Braves have their 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 6th at home against the Mets, with the Cardinals scoring again 7-1 over the Nationals. So Atlanta, if they hold that lead, and the Cardinals, I'm sorry, someone must have hit like a 3-run homer, because it went from 6-1 to 7-1. Now it's 9-1 Cardinals. The Braves could be 3 back with 5 to play. And if anyone knows that that's doable, the Braves know it's doable, because they were on the other end of it last year.
Yadier Molina has homered for St. Louis, has 3 RBIs. Alan Craig has a couple of hits and 2 RBIs.
And you know what? Maybe my scoreboard's wrong, but it says bottom of the 2nd in that game, 9-1. Am I missing something, or is that really bottom of the 2nd, 9-1 St. Louis?
5 runs in the first, 4 in the 2nd.
Wow.
So not a good night for Edwin Jackson, who in an inning and a third has given up 7 hits and 9 runs.
Ruiz battling against Cishek right now. Lines it to center. Peterson has to play that one on a hop. Terrific at bat by Ruiz. He's 1 for 4 with a 1-out hit. Ty Wigginton was scheduled. That would be Ryan Howard coming to the plate.
Well, we told you Charlie Manuel's bench was loaded with lefties.
And the biggest of those lefties is up now. Howard against Cishek. Breaking ball for a strike. Howard has had an interesting year. Of course, coming back from the Achilles injury. He has just 259 at bats, but he's driven in 56 runs, 14 homers, 11 doubles.
That's one thing about Ryan Howard. He has been a run producer. His last 6-year average is going to go down because of his injury this year, but 6 years averaging over 40 home runs and over 130 RBIs.
So if you say you just double what he's played so far and give him 140 games, that's 28 homers, but it's also close to 200 strikeouts. He has 98 strikeouts. Chooch is running, a swing and a miss. Did Buck get hit? And I think they're going to call the runner out. On the backswing, Howard hit Buck. Actually, they're going to call Howard out, and they'll send Ruiz back to first base.
Well, good pitch by Cishek to strike out a tough hitter in Ryan Howard. But on his swing, watch the backswing. The guy got him on the arm. Got the left forearm as John Buck was trying to make the throw.
So Ruiz has to return to first.
And another pinch hitter, Lance Nix, is going to pinch hit for Darren Ruff.
Nix. '24th pinch hitting at bat. Nix has 4 pinch hits. Cishek's used that off-speed pitch to get in front of the lefties.
Nice pitch, because most lefties are going to go up there, especially pinch hitting, and they're probably going to look for that fastball. If he gets that get me over breaking ball, he's going to get an early strike.
Missed on the 0-1. 1-1 in the 9th. Miami got their first run and only run in the bottom of the 4th when Giancarlo Stanton hit one up to the Budweiser balcony in left center after doubling in his first at bat, missing almost a couple of weeks. Returns tonight and has 2 hits.
Yeah, Giancarlo out 9 games. His last home run was September 11th against the Phillies in Philadelphia. A guy that Charlie Manuel has told you and I loves to watch swing the bat.
Breaking ball misses away. We've been talking tonight that you see Mike Dunn and Heath Bell talking tonight about the close races in the American League and Baltimore's big lead over Boston 9-1. And we talked about Flaherty, Machado, some of the offensive stars. Chris Tillman actually has a 1-hitter in that game through 8 innings. 9-1 Baltimore over Boston. Nix walks. He was a little reluctant to take the walk, but once he didn't hear anything from Brian Knight, the home plate umpire, he's on his way to first. Randy St. Clair on his way out to talk to Cishek with John Mayberry at the plate. Roy Halladay, Ricky Nolasco tomorrow night. 7:10 start, and then an afternoon game on Sunday. A 1:10 start for Nathan Eovaldi and some guy named Cole Hamels.
A couple of other American League games certainly of interest. Detroit and Minnesota, no score in the 5th. Tampa and the White Sox, they're tied at 1 in the 4th.
One other note in a ball game in Pittsburgh, the Reds have a 1-0 lead as they come to hit in the 9th. Their starter, Homer Bailey, has not given up a hit yet to the Pirates. He's got 8 no-hit innings. He's walked 1 and struck out 9.
A.J. Burnett hasn't pitched that badly for Pittsburgh. 8 innings, 7 hits, just 1 run.
Jonathan Papelbon in the bullpen. Remember, Mayberry started it against Burley when he doubled in the 8th. Burley got 2 outs, but he couldn't get Rollins. Rollins with 2 outs got a changeup and lined it into left field for a base hit. And now Cishek has fallen behind 3-0.
And he's got the switch hitter, Michael Martinez, on deck.
Not sure he'll face him if he loses Mayberry. Marlins have 2 arms ready in the pen.
If you're John Mayberry, 3-1 pitch, you're looking fastball. You might see the slider, but you'd probably look for fastball from Steve Cishek. He got it.
And he went after it, and it didn't look like it was in the strike zone.
Sometimes when you zero in on a pitch, you get your mind set that you're going to swing, especially 3-1, and he probably swung at ball 4. He did. He does have him set up for slider away, though.
He got him. Cishek comes back. He was down 3-0, and he gets Mayberry. Bottom of the 9th, 1-1 game. baseball on Fox Sports Florida, brought to you by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Checkers, feast on. And by Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. Pitcher's delight tonight, 1-1, bottom of the ninth. Marlins using their closer, Steve Cishek, to keep it at 1-1. Well, he had to strike out John Mayberry with a couple on to do it. And so the Phillies will do a few things. Follow along with us. Lance Nix in left field.
He changes. Mayberry comes in from the outfield to play first base. So Nix in left, Mayberry at first. And moving into right field is the strong-armed former Giant Nate Searholtz. Those aren't all the changes. Coming in to pitch, right-hander Josh Lindblom. Good fastball, slider primarily. And this year in his 72 games has been very solid out of that Phillies bullpen.
Brian Peterson will try to get on first. And a fastball for a strike opens the at-bat. Lindblom comes in. He takes over for Amont. Cliff Lee went 7. Amont pitched into some trouble but got out of it by striking out Scott Cousins to finish the 8th.
Pretty good change up there. And quickly he's ahead to Brian Peterson, 0-2. Boy, it's been a struggle for Petey. 1 for his last 32.
Breaking ball pulls it foul.
And that 1 was a double last night in Atlanta.
Broke his bat on a liner to first that turned into a double play. Fly to center. Line to left. Change up from Lindblom. And he misses out. That would be Reyes. And of course, Giancarlo Stanton will hit in this inning as well. Peterson takes. 2-2. Petey got that one, and it's into the corner. That's extra bases. Searholtz has a great arm. Peterson to second. He'll stop there. And the winning run at second with nobody out.
Terrific AB by Brian Peterson. He looked like he was fooled on a couple of pitches. Hung in there with 2 strikes. Drilled that double down to the right field corner. And what a way to set things up in the bottom of the 9th inning. Great job, Petey.
Fox tracks by Warren Henry. You see that last pitch, number 6, down and in to the lefty Peterson.
Interesting thing to think about right here. If you're Reyes and you give up your AB and move Peterson to third, they're going to walk Stanton. They may walk Lee. Below the bases. So on the other hand, the other thought is maybe Jose Reyes might get a good pitch in a bunting situation. Maybe swinging away to drive in the run.
And maybe the worst that he can do
is hit a ground ball to the right side.
Absolutely. Pull the ball to the right side, which would move Peterson.
So I'd rather see him do that than give up his AB and try to drop down a bunt.
Stanton, then Lee, then Solano here in the 9th. Lindblom. Reyes full speed ahead on that swing.
Yeah, high fastball. Lindblom.
Reyes, his first at bat from this side of the plate tonight.
Reyes had that 10th inning walk-off base hit against Atlanta.
So what you're saying here is if Reyes moves Peterson to third, the Phillies are going to walk Stanton. If they get Reyes out, they're probably going to walk Stanton as well.
Stanton's not going to swing the bat, unfortunately. Not going to get a chance.
Unless maybe Reyes walks and puts runners at first and second.
And it's 2-1 now. So there is a chance.
There is. There's a lot of things going on. The Marlins have a good base runner with good speed at second in Peterson. 2-1 coming. Reyes takes out. It's 3-1.
Like to see Peterson even get a little bigger lead. Rollins isn't that close, and he can keep his eye on Utley, who's well off the bag.
Leadoff double here at the ninth for Peterson. Lindblom is 3-1 to Reyes. Swung at a fastball and fouls it back. 93 miles an hour. Let's see what he gets.
Getting ready to take a shot of the walk-off.
Reyes, a ground ball to third. Franzen has it and throws him out. Well, he hit it hard. Franzen made a nice play.
Well, he sure did. You know, it was a defensive swing. At that point, you can't think about trying to pull a ball. It's close enough to be a strike. Reyes hits it hard, but the nice backhand play by Franzen. Now you have that scenario with first base open. Good check. Franzen checked the runner at second base, too. He looked at Peterson before he made the throw.
You can see Ruiz going to put the hand up and then put the pressure on Carlos Lee. Stanton walks intentionally.
The way Giancarlo has swung the bat tonight, it wouldn't have mattered who he had hitting behind him. Charlie Manuel saying, Giancarlo, I like to watch you hit, but not in this situation.
You got two pretty good contact guys with Carlos Lee and then Donovan Solano. The danger for Miami, Lee's 0 for 3 and 2 of his outs have been ground balls.
Yeah, the danger is that double play ball.
And the ground ball here could end the threat.
Well, El Caballo's due. It's been a dry spell for him. '76 games now as a Marlin for Carlos Lee.
Lindblom misses away. Well, this is a spot where Carlos Lee has made a very handsome living in his major league career. Runner in scoring position, game on the line. See the 10 walk-off hits in his career. Breaking ball, liner, left center field. Here comes Peterson. He's gotta score. Ball game.
And he continues to to make a nice living with big base hits like that.
El Caballo finishes it. Miami walks off the big double by Peterson, and Carlos Lee comes through.
For El Caballo, Rich, that's his first walk-off hit as a Marlin.
The 11th in his long and illustrious big league career. And on a night where Cliff Lee and Mark Burley were splendid, the game decided by the bullpens.
Slider out over the plate, maybe a little bit on the end of the bat, but over the head of Jimmy Rollins. And in a perfect spot, a thing of beauty. Warren Henry, drive of the game.
And the 7-game losing streak is over for the Fish with that swing. Let's go down below to Craig Minervini. Craig?
All right, well, Carlos Lee gets the game-winning hit and then suffers some rights and lefts. How you doing after that celebration?
That's a great win. You know, Burley pitched a really good game. And, I mean, we got to take advantage of that situation. Cliff Lee pitched great for them, but, you know, at the end, we won the game.
Carlos, you can kind of smell what was happening there in that inning. I'm sure you were thinking maybe a couple of batters ahead. It's probably going to come down to your at-bat. They're going to walk Stanton most likely. And your approach as you were coming up to that at-bat?
You know, I'm always calm on that, you know, that situation, and I kind of wait for the right pitch. You know, I was a little excited. I wouldn't lie about it. You know, I said, let me see the first pitch, let it go, and calm down a little. And, you know, the second pitch, he left it on the plate, so.
Yeah, it's neat after all these years you still get those juices going, huh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's always excited when you get the game on the line.
You've had a little bit of a struggle for some RBI hits for a while. You came through yesterday, and that maybe got you going.
I mean, it is a battle. You know, it's a battle, and, you know, that's a game. You know, it's a long season. You're going to go through, you know, ups and downs, but you got to learn how to keep it short.
I don't know if you could show the celebration here. He gets the big hit for the Marlins, which is a nice win, as you said. And then you got beat up. Who got you the best with some rights and lefts?
I mean, I put my head down and I kind of covered myself up. That's it. I didn't see nobody.
Let's watch this. Take it through it.
Oh, man, there's Reyes.
He's getting right hands in.
That's the right punch. Come on. That's a cheap shot from Buck.
That's a rabbit shot.
Come on. Oh, look at that. We'll see when I get inside.
That's a kidney shot from Buck. He got about 3 of it. Then Velasquez comes in with a left hand.
I will get revenge.
All right, Carlos, thanks for your time. Carlos Leo, he's a fun guy to talk to. Boy, guys, nice to get a Marlins win here tonight. Back to you.
Absolutely, and to walk off in that fashion is pretty sweet. So Carlos Lee is going to go get some revenge in the clubhouse.
That was great to see. It's been a long time coming and a lot of fun out there.
Our Toyota Tacoma inside look. A little pitch by pitch. This was Lee's AB. Remember, he said he was feeling a little juiced up. He let that first one go. And then the slider, he jumped all over.
You know, it's refreshing to hear a guy, a veteran, like Carlos Lee, to say, yeah, he was a little jumpy, a little nervous up there. He wanted to take a pitch. What a great lesson for a young hitter.
Marlins win it. They walk off 2-1 over the Phillies. Marlins Live, presented by Checkers, is next.